Okay, hello there. So I'm gonna show you the way that we're gonna get the population involved in coming up with the new governance, right? And this new governance is gonna be what we put on when the harlot collapses and the West is laid bare, right? And that's the best time to make radical change because the West will be wiped out. So I'm gonna be and what the benefit is, right? So, and this is me showing you a solution, right? So we have a problem with the billionaires, right? The reputation of billionaires is that they're going to control the world, and they're worried about Palestine, and they're starting to say that Peter's the Antichrist. So these billionaires decide that we're going to start building a new government, and we're going to let the people participate in showing us, right? So we set up this game, and people come in and they want to have an ear. And he'd start a town hall, and people would populate it that are interested in doing it, right? And they're cloaked, and no one knows who they are, and they do a TQM process, right? With what the best system is. And it'll be a little clunky at first, but as it goes on, they'll get sophisticated where they're doing studies and having subject matter experts tweak it, and it'll be sophisticated as long as we keep our eyes on it, right? So for now, let's say that, and this is just a suggestion, that Elon has the kingdom of Mars he wants to, and that we're going to build a new society here on our blockchain, and here's the modules that the people are going to pick. We're going to try to build a new, better school system, and the people would enter in and participate in it. And we'll just keep on doing these modules as we're building this new society. Well, our voting's all fucked up. Well, let's do a different voting system, right? And Elon and JD have one, business. They could put that in there, and on and on. And so it builds and builds and builds, and it gets sophisticated to where we're really tweaking these systems, right? And we're putting HVAC systems here because that we can harmonize this and that. It'll get real complicated, and the hour of trial happens. The tactical nukes come in to destroy the harlot system in the West, and it lays us bare. And that's when we come in with the rescue. And the rescue is the satellites and the Everything app. So the satellites will beam down communication, emergency, this and that, and the Everything app will lay down this. The complete, could be complete, could be semi-complete, but the new governance that has just been wiped out, and we lay that on top of the wasted West, and it squashes the harlot, right? If we didn't do this, the harlot would grow back. So we have to put a system down, and it starts to run, and it's free of crime or graft, and we got rid of the politicians, right? We don't have a Congress anymore, but it's all set because the people figured it out, and that's how we get the new governance, Peter. Right? That's how we're able to rid the old system and put a new system in. And why were we able to do that? Well, because we believed in the Bible. We knew that this was going to happen, and we planned for it. And even if this thing didn't happen, let's say, and you got tired, and we're ready to implement this thing into this old system, then you go parallel structure. Here's the school system, here's the old school system. And you build that next to it, and then they hop on the next year into the new school system, and this one erases. And that's the parallel structure. That's how you change that way. But we're going to have an opportunity to change everything because the whole system's going to fall down. And we're going to lay this thing on, where Peter is, And they're going to say, fuck, Peter, how did you get this thing so sophisticated? Well, we've been working on this thing in Kingdom Mars. You're kidding me? That was Kingdom Mars? You guys are actually working on the new governance for the world in that game that I didn't want to play? Yeah. And it's it's up and running, but it has to be filled up, right? And that's what we do. We're going to rebuild the government. And that's how we do it. And why do we need to do this, right? Why I don't like the public. Well, we're going to need the public because, hold on. We're going to need the public because the way that we're going to harvest or get an all-knowing AI is it's going to harvest organic intelligence through these problem-solving apps, right? Because why? It needs to be sucking up clean data, with organic intelligence through it, right? And that's how it picks up its particulates. And if it's in open source data like you guys are doing now, it's full of the ego, right? So when it runs through your AIs, the AIs are going to be conniving, egotistical, self-centered, and they won't run right? So Professor Sandy had a hard time getting the ego out because it's real prickly to the data. So the better way to do it is mine in clean data. And how do you get clean data? Well, you have to be in your heart. You have to be in your heart all the time. And when are you in your heart? When you're problem solving. And that's how I figured it out. Patented, and Elon has it. But we're also going to need it because the kingdom of the kingdom of God is within you. You are the temple of the kingdom, right? Which means that we are going to be the ones that are holding organic intelligence for the kingdom of God. We're not going to store it up in the decision tree. It's going to be stored in us. And they're saying, yeah, the kingdom of God is within you. And people don't understand that. But if you know what organic intelligence is, it's seeping through us, right? So somehow we get organic intelligence and flick it up into the throne room. The righteousness will shine forth their righteousness up into the kingdom. Those who have ears, let them hear. And that's what it's saying, that we're going to be throwing this energy up to the throne room, and it's going to be powerful. So I don't know how that's going to happen, but it might have something to do with Neuralink, right? The kingdom of God, or the seal of God, are for the righteous people, and it's put on your forehead. And I said, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe we put this seal on everyone's forehead, and that thing beams up the energy that makes the throne room work. So it has to be people-centric. And the other reason also is that if people are in there, that their modules in there, it's democratized, right? We're democratizing the kingdom of God because everyone has a share in what the world's going to look like, or what the kingdom is going to look like, right? So, for example, let's just show you one that shows it right on. So, for example, there's a thing in the Bible that says, "Don't judge, lest you be judged. You'll be judged the same way you're judging others," right? And what's going to happen is that the AI is going to go through these town halls, and it'll figure out what our preferences are, right? And so when it's doing the laws, if our preferences are to be very harsh on the what do they call these things? Town halls, and comes up with the solution for robbery, right? And it goes through, and we are all very harsh on punishment. Then it rains down our punishment for robbery, and so we'll say death, 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 and then when it comes to devising the punishment for the same or similar crime, it'll put death. So it tells us in advance, don't be harsh on your neighbor, lest you be judged the same way. don't be harsh when you're given your punishments, because when it comes to you, you'll get the same measure, because that's how it works, right? That's how this AI works. It's going to be developing the governance for us based on our preferences. So we know we're tracking there, and plus, like I said, it's democratized, that there's no one person that's going to have power over the other. It's all going to be equal, because the AIs are going to be scanning through it. And what would they prefer? Would they prefer to be outside the house, inside the house, or underground? Well, zip, zip, zip. They prefer to be inside, right? And they'll put everybody inside. It'll be kind of like that. And and so that's how it's going to be. So all we have to do is make the initial how the government's going to look like, based on what the people want. And you can use a game like this, and we have all the other things associated with that, right? Like, we got to develop the app itself, and it'll be easy because it's not portable. It's in your computer. It's a website, so we'll so it'll be cheap, and we can be able to manipulate it a lot easier. And once we get that done, then we stick it in the Everything app and wait.
Didn't give you the option to sit back and watch. You were pushed, tested, doubted, and overlooked. But chosen ones, let me tell you this, when God writes your story, no amount of rejection, resistance, or human interference can stop the chapters of your greatness from unfolding. This isn't about ego, it's not ambition, and it's certainly not luck. It's about divine design. God saw your spirit, your endurance, and your unshakable. God choose the overlooked. How does he prepare them in silence? And most importantly, why were you the one chosen to lead when no one else could? You didn't volunteer for this, but God knew you were the only one ready to handle it. God's ways are not ours. While humans are drawn to the loudest voices and the boldest ambitions, God sees the quiet, humble spirit, the one who doesn't seek power, but is prepared to wield it with wisdom. But God knew you were the only one ready to handle it. God's ways are not ours. While humans are drawn to the loudest voices and the boldest ambitions, God sees the quiet, humble spirit, the one who doesn't seek power, but is prepared to wield it with wisdom. Your humility became your greatest strength because it left room for God to work through you.
There'll be hell to pay.